Hi, guys.
Yo.
Yo.
Loose Cannons Podcast, episode 21. I'm No Justin, No Peace.
And I'm Lou Rivers.
And we are the Loose Cannons. Because every week we are firing off our opinions on today's pop culture, politics, and movies. And how they all intersect.
Yes, we do.
Yo, it's just great to be back with you in the studio.
I know, took a nice little break.
I know. But we're sitting down and we've got a great movie review for you guys.
Yes, we do.
Great movie.
What we got for them?
Tarantino's ninth film, Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
Okay, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
You're right.
I was like,
Hollywood.
We're definitely not doing that.
Yeah, no, that was Robert Rodriguez's old movie. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, starring
Leonardo DiCaprio.
And who else?
Brad Pitt.
Yo, Margot Robbie with her cute self.
Yes.
Listen. Great review for you guys. But if you've been with us before, you know we do the review later in the show.
Yes.
Every show, we start off with social media. But before we get there, you guys go to our social media.
Yes.
Cannons Podcast.
Yes.
Instagram.
Yes.
Facebook.
Where else?
Twitter.
Okay.
Let us know what you think about our review. Let us know what you think about the show. Yes. Let us know what you think about the movies. Let us know what movie you might want us to review or have a conversation.
Correct.
All right.
Another thing.
Yeah. Let's go.
August now.
Ooh.
So you know what's in August, right?
Power.
Yo, we got Power coming in a couple episodes.
It's a big rich town.
Hey.
And I just come from the poorest part. A bright light. Oh, wait. We might owe 50 cents some money. And we know how that works out.
You're right. I ain't owing 50 nothing.
Never.
Nah.
I'm not owing 50 a piece of gum.
Nope.
Because he's coming to collect.
You know it.
All right. So this week in social media.
Yes.
A lot went down.
Yeah.
Even some new updates up to today.
Yo, the last 2 weeks we've had like updates for like our previous shows.
You're right. Updates for the previous shows, which we are continuing.
Yes, we are.
This week, A$AP Rocky at Sunday service.
Yes.
No, Kanye West did not go to
Sweden to go see him.
to do Sunday service.
Yes. So what happened?
A$AP Rocky is home.
He got released.
The
president didn't do it though.
We don't know what did it. Do we have any information? Did TMZ let us know?
Supposedly they did the trial. Like they didn't go through with the charges, and that was it.
Oh, so they were just like, yeah, no.
Yeah, y'all right. We did the investigation.
Okay. You just need to wait.
To go.
We figured it out.
Yep. And he was home. I think that's Saturday, and went straight
Sweden's
to Sunday
back
service.
on top. That was a pretty speedy trial.
Yep. But that's what they said. They said that, the moment that you go in front of the court, the judge will make that determination, and that was it.
Yep.
So I guess
they held to their word.
Yeah. I mean, I understood. It's just,
because 2 weeks ago, we were like, Sweden and their archaic legal system. Yeah. And
I mean, I was all for it, but I was like, yo, that other dude need to be in jail too right now,
But we do have some people that have been in jail waiting for their trial in America.
Yes.
And for years. Khalif Browder, he was in there for 3 years.
Yep.
So I don't know if we can really say anything about Sweden.
You're right. You were right. I didn't even think about that.
A$AP Rocky was out in 2 weeks.
Yes, he was. So anyways, A$AP free. What did he do? First thing he did.
I gotta praise him.
Yeah, you right.
I mean, he did the right thing.
He went to Kanye's Sunday service.
He did exactly what a rapper's supposed to do.
Yes. Go thank God.
For
everything.
He probably did some lean after that, but everybody has their own things.
So he was speaking with his ex. Was he with Kendall or Kylie?
Oh, I don't know.
One of them. But it's supposedly like after service, they got pictures and everything. Like, speaking with, the family, obviously. So
I don't blame him.
Thank everybody, I'm assuming. Thank you, Ye.
Thank you, Ye.
You shouldn't have went to Donald because he messed me up.
He messed you up. It might be an additional week.
They was about to let me out that day.
Damn.
And he wants to get on TV. Nah, I'm kidding. But no, thankful that A$AP is back. Hopefully he changes his mind on some of his opinions that he's had over the years.
Probably not, but
I understand. Anyways, but he's home. Thank the Lord.
Nobody
should be.
A$AP is home.
Yeah.
Listen, like Dr. King said, injustice. Damn, I should have prepared.
Go ahead.
It's something about injustice.
No, injustice is no.
Anywhere is an injustice everywhere.
Right, exactly.
Don't quote us on that. Yo, I got it.
I'm certain Dr. King said it.
Dr. King said something like that.
Paraphrased it.
He said something like that, which what he meant was None of this. If it's not right, it's not right.
It's
no
not,
matter who it gets
right,
done to.
Right. Exactly.
Right is not right is wrong.
Anywhere.
Anywhere.
And everywhere. Got it. I got it.
Not right is never right.
Right.
It's always wrong.
It's always wrong.
No matter where it is.
Preach, brother.
Listen, I got it. Boom. ASAP is home. ASAP is home.
Oh, yes.
Some people want to lock up Mario Lopez.
Yes.
Get him out of here.
Send him to Sweden.
Take him off those pet shows. Take him off those pet shows. I don't care how great his body is at 50-something.
So, Mario Lopez went off, and I don't even know where this interview was, or where they were asking him.
Yeah, I don't even... He was asked a question.
Why they were asking him. Exactly. That's what I was wondering. I was like, he's usually doing the interviews. Why is someone asking him something?
When it comes to gender issues in the United States of America, it's Mario Lopez I go to.
Yeah, that's the first person I think about.
What?
So Mario Lopez goes off and says, well, I read everything that he said.
Yeah.
And I understood what he was saying.
I understood it very well,
but
too.
People who aren't thick-skinned.
He shouldn't have said it, though.
Yes.
Because of the time. Not that he was wrong.
He basically, at the end of it all, just to paraphrase everything, he said that kids should be allowed to just be kids.
That's it.
And not make the determination of which gender they are until later on in life.
First of all, before anybody interjects into what Mario Lopez says, tell me if you have kids first.
Right.
Because if you don't, I don't want to listen to you.
1, tell me if you have kids.
Yes.
2, go read everything he wrote without just reading the
whole thing.
Right.
Not the headline, because the headlines is crazy.
Right. Because he has kids. Like, it's not like he's not a father, you know? And I understood what he was saying, but due to the atmosphere of America currently, it is very difficult to even be objective about the subject. So basically his idea was just, you know, we're trying to make these choices, and I understand to the extreme.
Yep.
Like, if you can tell early on, the earlier the better.
Yes.
But
3. He specifically said 3.
He said 3 years old, and I
specifically
understood exactly what he was saying. He said we should wait until they're maturing at a certain level where obviously you're going through puberty, your hormones are finally adjusting to your body.
Yes.
But especially knowing that, like, I went to school for psychology. The one thing that you always understood is that, like, your last phase of growth is usually your personality, where you're trying to figure out who you are. Yeah. So, and that doesn't happen until your teens usually. Exactly. So it's kind of tough to be.
And if you look at the Maslow hierarchy of needs, even when you're older, you don't actually get to the actualization level until you reach certain markers like stabilizing your household and your ability to feed yourselves and certain things before you get to and be able to really identify who you are. Exactly. But children, we're talking about a 3-year-old child. Kids. Yeah. Which they have a confusion just between understanding an animal is an animal and a human is a human.
Just learning the world.
Learning the world. It's safe to say it's better to wait. Right. Now, we're not saying that we want these kids, or I don't think he's implying that we want kids to be in an unsafe situation. Right. Now, we can control the outside environment also. Right. No one should be bullied and teased because of who they want to be. Correct. But with that said, if your child decides to identify or say that they don't present as what they feel on the inside, that's not going to make them less of a victim. Right. Those aren't the tools that make you less of a victim. Correct. Changing doesn't make you less of a victim. If you're teased for anything, changing doesn't make you less of a victim. Being strong and standing up to the bully generally makes you less of a victim. Right. So therefore, we're looking at the wrong things to alleviate the danger. Right. I would think that every parent would want their child to get to a general state of understanding. Right. Like, we're not saying wait till you're 55, 60, Bruce Jenner, but at least 18, generally 21.
I can even understand teens. I think the biggest thing is that we live in a society where we sexualize everything. So it's tough to be like, all right, well, we have to start pushing the boy to a man to be a male. Yes. And we have to start pushing the female to be a woman. Yes. And I understand what he's saying when he's saying they're kids. Like I'm not going around like, oh, that's a little boy and that's a little girl. I'm actually going, especially if you're a teacher, your idea should be I'm teaching a group of kids. I'm not teaching boys and girls, because then you have social expectations of what they should be. Yeah. And that's the tough part, where now they have to meet social requirements. And that's where the confusion starts. Yes. If they didn't have any requirements to be like, oh, well, I have to be something at this point, then they would be able to explore their identity a whole lot better, free to explore.
But are we really exploring identity? Because I have a feeling like even we're binary, right? We have no options for the other. Right. It's only binary. Right. So either you're wearing pants or you're wearing a skirt. Right. So even if you feel like you shouldn't be wearing pants,
we're not in a world for skirts.
You don't have freedom because you only go to the skirt. Right. You understand? So it's not even like you're really just choosing what you want. Right. You're not inventing anything new. Though for other genders doesn't exist any other form of lower half clothing. You understand what I'm saying? So even we're in a world that's binary. So it's almost like we're trying to operate as if there's so many different things when there's really not that many choices. We're not living free. We're choosing either or. We're choosing either we're going to present this way or we're going to present that way. We're not really that free.
So we should take a whole year where men wear dress suits to work and women wear suits.
Dog, I got good calves.
Me too. I mean, I work out.
I would fuck up.
You see these thighs,
I would fuck them up, yo.
Man, I have all the ladies distracted at work.
I'm not doing heels though.
Nah.
You know what? I would do some heel Tims. I would do. You remember the high heel Tims? I'd be fucking them up with some high heel Tims.
All right, I feel you, brother.
That's about it.
I'm going to the game in my NBA dress.
That's it. For real.
Yo, okay.
A Coogee dress. Dress with some high heel Tims. No, but at the end of the day, listen. Let people be who they want to be. Right. But it does require some learning and knowledge to know what you don't want to be before you can identify what you do want to be. Right. And that is not at 3. Right. Mario Lopez said nothing wrong.
I don't think
in that regard because he specified a 3-year-old.
Right.
He didn't say a 16-year-old, 18-year-old, and even that is complex.
And that is complex. And the people went after him because the title only says, he said, let kids be kids.
Yes.
And people generalized, oh, he's talking about everyone up to 17.
That's crazy. And the fact is, listen, even if you're at 13 and you say, you know what, I don't feel like I present like who I am on the inside. Right. Fine. But that doesn't mean we're going to give you chemicals yet.
Right.
That chemical stuff in the process can happen later.
Right.
But while you're going through this process, you should be able to dress however you want, and that's anybody. Right. And you shouldn't be teased about it.
Right.
Simple. We all win. Mm-hmm. Right?
I don't know.
Leave Mario Lopez alone.
Let him live.
They trying to do him like Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey had 17 jobs down to none. Mario Lopez had 22 jobs. They trying to move him down to none.
Steve Harvey went from 17 jobs to 0 jobs and Diddy as a stepson, huh?
Like the
sorry.
Put that on the paper. Oh my god! I totally forgot about that.
This week is social media.
Oh my god!
Diddy is dating Steve Harvey's daughter.
But not the older daughters. She's what, 20-something?
Yeah. Okay. So wait. She was dating his son.
She was Was it official she was dating his son?
She showed up to the house.
I should get my mother on the podcast because after she hears it, she was like, I told you she was dating this son.
Yeah. So he had brought her over to the house.
Oh, no.
And 3 months later, Diddy is with Steve Harvey's daughter. Wait. Look, they all around.
This is a pattern. He did that to Ryan Leslie. Yeah. Now he did it to his own kid.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have spoke to the son and could be like, "Yo, do you, Pop?
Yeah,
I'm done.
Yo, she feeling the kid. Take
that. That's literal.
Yeah, he
took that.
He took it.
Damn.
Told you we won't stop. He was whispering in his ear while he was sleeping.
Okay, all right. Stop. Quickly. Is there an age that you're too old to date a 20-something-year-old woman?
Date. Look, I'm in the school of not telling people what to do.
True.
So I don't like to put any restrictions on anybody other than the fact that you shouldn't be dating a child. Cool.
Yes, definitely shouldn't be dating a child. We could tell him not to do that.
Right. I would tell Diddy, I would be like, wait until they can at least smoke, but I prefer you to wait until that they can at least drink.
Yes.
She's no, that's what I'm saying. She's over 20.
She's definitely drink.
Wait until they're 18. But if I could, wait until they're 21.
But a new rule.
Right.
Once you hit 40, you got to at least wait till they can rent a car.
See, I like that. Damn, I like that.
If Enterprise won't let you use a fucking car, maybe you shouldn't be using her body.
Yeah. Okay, I like that. Look, that's a new one. I'm putting that on the list.
We're going to get a t-shirt. Yes. If Enterprise won't let you use their car, maybe you shouldn't be using her body.
I like it.
God damn it. I love Diddy. And my mother looked at me. She was like, you love Diddy. You going to make excuses for him. I can't. I can't.
Yeah, hey.
It's a pattern. He like
young women. I mean, but a lot. It's crazy.
But not underage women.
Right.
Not children.
Right. Not children. All right. So the whole thing is that they say that guys are very visual.
Yes.
So being visual.
She's beautiful.
You kind of get stuck in that age of when you matured. So I kind of feel like at that moment when you first met, like maybe your real love or whatever, and you're in your 20s, you kind of get stuck in that age frame because you spend so many years looking for that at that age.
Yes.
So I think that's why a lot of old guys are always going with the young women like, where you at, girl? Yeah. But I don't know. And then, women have always been with mature men, so they've always been.
That's very true.
Dudes, so
that's very true.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Damn. I mean, she did upgrade.
Yeah.
Think about it. I mean, she would have had to wait for Diddy to die for the son to get the money, and then she get the money. Yeah. She went straight to the goose.
Yo, straight
to the goose.
God dang.
Damn it.
And look, now I bet you Steve Harvey got a job now.
Steve Harvey?
I bet you he got
Steve
a job.
Harvey on Revolt. Steve Harvey's on Revolt.
Shoot, he gonna be showing up to what's the Joe Budden podcast and the other one, the one with Remy Ma. It just came
State of Culture.
Yeah. Steve Harvey hosting State of Culture with Joe Budden and Remy Martin. But it's only 3 of them now. It just came out last week.
Yeah, Scotty Beam is gone. She went to do something else.
I'm almost certain that she got tired of being the last on the...
And the one that's kind of always like...
The difference of opinion.
The comments is always going against her. Yeah. I actually like the show.
I mean, sometimes you got to stand out. You have to be strong with your opinion.
Oh, no, I think her career is blossoming because of it. I think she only needs that 1 year.
That's all she needs.
She's like a model now or whatever. She's like Wilhelmina Models. Okay. Listen.
She got a nutritionist and a
nutritionist and all that.
That's what you
she
need.
Look good. Scotty look good.
Where we are, man. All right.
Listen.
It's going. Look.
We watch movies, right?
Look, it's just going downhill from here.
It's going downhill. We watch movies, and we watch a lot of movies that have to do with government conspiracies and all kinds of conspiracies. I think this got to go on the list. Yeah. It just happened though.
It happened this morning.
Jeffrey Epstein. This is hot off the press. Yes. I don't even think TMZ did anything on it because that starts at 3:00. Mm-hmm. Well, this is the weekend. So they're not hitting it. We doing before TMZ, baby. Press. Listen, Jeffrey Epstein is dead.
Yeah, he allegedly committed suicide.
Allegedly committed suicide.
Found in his cell. He was probably run over by a car. Yeah, something like that.
Oh, he was found in the cell.
Yeah.
Come on now. We know what happened. We know what. Yeah. Okay, Jeffrey Epstein is dead. Jeffrey was in jail because he's facing. This is the second time he's facing charges of child pornography.
Yes.
Child pornography and sex trafficking.
A whole gamut of things
of stuff you don't want to be caught doing.
Right.
I mean, because like in the list of like crimes that are acceptable, it's nowhere near that list.
Like robbery and
it's like come on, he needed needed it.
He's there for all the things that other prisoners beat other prisoners.
Yes,
yeah,
the immoral. Right, take a
not even
moral
the prisoners
stance.
Be like, nah, he's cool. Nope.
No. So Jeffrey Epstein.
Yep.
Found dead.
So the interesting thing is, like I told you yesterday, a report came out. One of the accusers, 100 pages of all this backstory and high profile victims. I mean, high profile players who she was trafficked around.
Big money.
Had came out, and they say that it's a coincidence that came out, and likely testimony that related to that he had, I guess, through the investigation, and have already stated, because he's already stated that he will plead down by giving up big names. So I'm almost certain that they've cross-referenced most of these names with this exact report that was released yesterday. So now the worry is, how many people has he identified?
He was telling.
Right.
Which he should.
Right.
I'm glad he was telling. I want to know. Yeah. You know what's so weird? It's like we live in this world where we commoditize so much, right?
Yes.
But it's weird for, I think, as a man, identifying individuals who have the means and who have the money. Generally, the understanding is, as a man, if you have the means and the money, you can actually court women with your means and money.
Correct.
But some of these individuals, I think they're obsessed with things that they can actually purchase. Right. I think that they're obsessed with being able to purchase illegal things. It's like people who like purchase illegal animals. Like it's like it's exotic. It's exotic. It's a part of the danger is that Jeffrey Epstein has this woman that I'm not supposed to be with her, and it's a perverse thing of how far can my money get me? You know, in this underworld. It's weird because it reminds me. You ever seen the Alfred Hitchcock movie Rope?
No.
In Rope, the central premise, they actually kill one of their classmates. These two guys kill one of their classmates, and they hide him in this like this case that's like in the living room, and they have a dinner party. And they invite his parents over, and they invite one of their teachers over, and they invite his ex-girlfriend over.
It's like
they're expecting to see him there, but he's already dead. They had choked him out earlier. But their idea was something that they learned in boarding school, was that murder was reserved for a select few, the people who actually basically earned it, people who are high on the food chain, people who have a lot of money, people who have high intelligence. So they believe it's almost like a gift for the people. And the teacher taught them that, but it was just a theory for him. It wasn't something to live the practice, but they internalized that. And I believe like when people are starting to, when they come from certain societies, upper echelon societies, they internalize things as, you know, I'm supposed to be able to do everything. There's nothing beyond reproach. I can purchase anything. I can buy my way out of anything. And some people go as far as I can use this weapon to murder. And we kind of garner that in this world where we make exceptions for everything. We have plenty of exceptions for murder. Right. We just say, oh, in this condition. So what makes us think that a person won't add an additional condition? And so if they'll add additional condition for murder, they'll add an additional condition for rape. We add conditions, obviously, for theft. We say, oh, yeah, you can sell drugs. We know people sell drugs because of this. Right. We add these conditions. So, but how far do we end up? We're watching people as they're bending the sides. They're bowing the sides of these conditions.
See how far
they're adding their conditions. And I just look at this Jeffrey Epstein situation, and I see people who are bending the conditions. If I have money and power, I can get to do anything I want.
And then he has these other people of power in his pocket.
Other people of power in his pocket. Moving on, it's the same thing. As we're seeing 2 shootings. This past week.
Before you jump into the next topic, I totally forgot what's her name was released this week from prison.
The young lady who shot up in the air?
No, the young lady who killed her John child.
Yes. She was
just released last week.
Was that a pardon? Hers was a pardon, right?
Yeah, commuted sentence. Politician, last term. I always said that like politicians on their last term will normally do something like
this. They'll do a lot
because
whatever.
No backlash. It's not like you can't reelect me. I'm not coming back. You know? So, but I totally forgot. I just remembered just because we started.
We got to get her name.
Tatiana. I'm kidding. Don't worry. But
next week. We'll do it next week.
Yes, we will.
2 shootings.
Yes.
El Paso.
Yes.
And was it Dayton?
El Paso and...
Dayton, Ohio.
Yes.
Dayton, Ohio. Within 24 hours.
Yes. Within 14, 16 hours, something like that.
14, 16 hours.
One was at a Walmart.
Yes.
And that was the one in Texas. Yep. The one in Ohio was at a club.
Outside of a club. He didn't get into the club. I seen an image from outside the club. I had to stop. It's just
it's graphic. It's a bit much.
It's when you see people move and you see people move frantically and with terror, it's really horrific to watch that. You know, like it's a certain type of
when you see people running for their lives. It's just totally different from any other.
Totally different.
Especially as a mob, it's so difficult because people are literally trying to climb over people.
Climb over.
You know? And I don't know, did you see the lady who fell and her boyfriend had covered her?
And he just Yeah. Wow.
I mean, it's tough, you know, being at this day and age where, you know, we're still talking about mass shootings, and it's difficult to watch the violence of one and some be magnified to a great extent where we are definitely feeling the pain, but we're in such a society where many of these things pass, and like we said, we're not going to think about it next.
I'm tired of the non-starting conversation stoppers. Every time somebody brings up a potential solution, someone tries to rationalize out of the solution.
Right.
I feel like there's so many things that we can attempt, and the attempt is more important than just sitting here and say, well, I guess we're just going to have to live like we're living. What we know is not going to stop. And I believe this was the one that was outside of the club.
Right.
32 seconds. The police shot the man.
Right.
Killed him. In 32 seconds. I don't think anybody's going to respond any faster than that.
Right.
And these are trained individuals.
Correct.
Granted, some people are going to have higher training. You're not responding faster than 32 seconds.
Right.
How many people was he able to kill and injure in that 32 seconds? Right. So the armed individual scenario, it can do but so much. Right. Actually, it won't. Most people won't be able to respond in 32 seconds, even if you're on the scene, because you have to identify before you're going to run first.
Who and what and
who,
how,
what, when, where, and how am I going to get them?
Right.
Police aren't going to get there any faster than 32 seconds, unless you were coming to just shoot the police officer. He pulls his gun out faster than you, so it's not going to happen. So therefore, if we want to mitigate at least the initial 9 people dead, and at least the initial 20-something other people that were injured, that's a different solution.
Correct.
It's not the gun on site. We already have police here. They responded. They just happened to be close.
Right.
Otherwise, it would have never worked. Boom. So what's the next solution? We always are talking about the weapons. We're talking about the weapons, assault rifles. I'm tired of people telling me that this is semi-automatic. This isn't really automatic. You don't know anything about guns. We're looking at the choice of guns that people are choosing. They're choosing it for a reason. Right. They aren't choosing handguns for a reason. When we talk about violence in America, I do know that most gun violence is suicides. Nobody's talking about that.
Right.
We have to take that out. Don't put that scenario in there as a non-starter to dissuade the conversation. I also know that some people do commit mass shooting with handguns.
Right.
But guess what? The speed of it is not going to be the same. Right. The possibility of the speed when you're going through a crowd of people, if you did want to murder a mass amount of crowd of people, the first gun you're picking up is not a handgun.
Right.
You're choosing something that's going to shoot a little faster. The bullets are a little more lethal. Yes, we do know there is a choice of weapons, guys. Now, the question is, do we get rid of them in total or not? That is the option. Right. And are we willing to live with the consequences of not potentially starting there?
Right.
We had assault weapons ban. Did we have as many mass shootings as we do now?
Well, this is the problem with this scenario is that so when these two events happened, nobody identified the weapons. And usually for me, that means that it wasn't an assault weapon.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be an assault weapon.
So the biggest problem is that, all right, for me, the biggest culprit will always be, what can we do to make sure that whoever's purchasing the weapon is going through the process of actually getting the weapon. Like I saw a post the other day where they were just like, how does it take me longer to get a CDL license than it does for me to get a weapon? Like
way
longer. Go through training
to become a barber.
Right. Like for any licensing, you should have to go through some procedure.
Yes.
That is, especially the more lethal, the longer, so that you understand, and you're getting not only the background, but you're getting. The more you know about something, the more important it is to you, the more involved it is.
Absolutely.
It's very difficult to say, like, all right, well, we should basically be given this training so that people can understand.
Absolutely.
Then they'll understand the safety risks. And then knowing that if you're not taking all the parameters, you're not going to get it.
If you don't have a safe, you go to jail.
Right. Like, these are the things in which should be the easy part. It's not like you're infringing on my rights. It's not a house.
It's not a house.
It's not like you're just, all right, I'm going to just go buy it. No. This is you have to get a license to drive a car.
That's it.
You have to get insurance. You have to do all these extra things.
Now, this is what they always argue. It's like, you're taking my ability away to defend myself. But the problem with that is we use statistics and all these ideas to mitigate gun control. Mm-hmm. But we don't use statistics when we're talking about the actual threat.
Right.
The actual possibility of you using the weapon to save your life is very low in comparison to you actually harming yourself or harming your loved one. So if we're going to use those things to mitigate this whole thing, we've got to use it fairly.
Right.
It is a dangerous proposition. We can. Most people aren't using their guns to defend themselves against drug cartels or drug dealers in Chicago. Right. You're not going down on the street corner and defending yourself against those people. Right. Those people ain't even worried about you.
Right.
They're not even worried about you because it would make it more hot for them if they just shot a random person.
Right.
So, like, when you put all this rationalization in there, who are you defending yourself against? It starts with one thing. I totally understand defending your home, your domicile. That is a controlled environment. And at the times you would be defending yourself, you would know who will be coming in and who's coming out. There's certain type of weapons that are good for that. We have to move ourselves out of the I want a gun because it's fucking cool.
Right.
Stop it. Because most people who are making these arguments are people who like the gun because it's fucking cool. Right. And they don't want someone to take that ability to express themselves in this cool way that they have this weird obsession with. Right. They don't even want to admit it's an obsession because it moves over. Because if you had an obsession with cars, it'd still be an obsession.
Right.
But guess what? This shit is way more fucking dangerous. This obsession. We have to take this way more serious than a fucking car or someone cutting your hair.
Right.
This is way more serious. And if we actually want to do something about it, we have the solutions, but we haven't attempted any of these solutions. Right. We can't half-ass. We can't half-ass the solutions and pretend like we want to defend our kids by giving more kids and more people access to these fucking weapons. Right. It's no way. Because the next step, I believe, that's going to happen, as much as we see all this shit working out and a police officer responded in 32 seconds, I believe there's going to be a mass shooting and there's going to be somebody who responds with a weapon and they hit the wrong person and they start hitting the wrong people. That's coming. That's coming. It just, we haven't had those numbers yet because those things haven't happened that often. Right. People don't respond to the mass shoot. The cops get there before anybody this was in El Paso.
And I'll throw something else at you. What if it's happened already?
What if we don't know?
Because this is the whole thing. If there's a rampant shooter and
how would you know?
You think that they're gonna say the hero hit these two people?
Absolutely not.
You know what I mean?
No, they're not.
The one thing, like, I always bring up is that, all right, going to the Marines and being trained.
Yes.
I'm giving my weapon, honestly, on day 2 or 3 in my platoon.
Yep.
But honestly, yeah, I'm talking about all day. We're cleaning, we're training, we're doing this, we're doing that. I didn't shoot my first round until 5 or 6 weeks after I got my weapon.
Wow.
So that just shows that
you're going right. Potentially, these individuals are going
to actually use war, right? To you're going to use your weapon, but the whole thing is that like you're literally reading, you're having classes, you're breaking it down, you're putting it together.
Yes.
You're learning muzzle control.
Yep.
Like the random person who's just like, all right, I just went and bought a gun. There's so much that person does not know about that weapon.
Yes.
And the whole thing is that. That's one weapon that we get for 5 weeks. We learn, before we shoot the first round. So it's just like, imagine the guy who's just going to buy an arsenal, no training, no nothing, doesn't know safety, anything.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's tough to understand that like
400 million firearms in our country.
Oh, that's nice.
300 something million people.
Yep. It's one for every person. A couple people got two.
The data they're saying is owned by a very tiny percentage. Less than 5% people own all these guns. What do they think is people are planning who have this? This is my thing. And okay, we're going to the conspiracy theory part of this whole journey, right? If Justin has a solution, we take care of all violence of situationship violence, like gang violence and drug war violence, this, that, and the third. We remove all of that from the table.
How much?
We increase mental health. I mean, like literally universal health care, so nobody's paying for it. It's, I have a problem, you go see somebody tomorrow, you start with your clinician, and then you go to a road of recovery, working on your depression, working on your anxiety, all these different things. It takes time for this to go through, but if we start now, our kids will already be used to seeing somebody. Exactly. Not when you're 30 and 40 and you feel like you want to die and kill yourself early. Boom. So we see 5-10 year progression. We're going to start seeing all of those numbers decline. Exactly. And then it isolates just individuals who commit these type of things. Exactly. And then you're going to start seeing these individuals that are committing these type of things are probably not in the same category as people who are bullied and who feel all this depression shit. These are psychotic killers. How do we get this shit out of the hands of the psychotic killers? We increase protections of keeping these guns out of people's hands. If a small percentage of people have these guns, there's no way that we're tracking all of these arsenals that belong to these people. So therefore, if we look at any other crime that happens, we always think that it's illicit. Everybody who's involved is some type of illegal dealer. Absolutely not. I believe that the same gun store that you're going to and most of these people are going to in some states to pick up their legal weapons, some of that shit gets to the street. Most of that shit gets to the street. Easy. Because first of all, it's 3-4 times as expensive. That's the shit that's going to the street. It's not coming. Where do they think these illegal guns are coming from? They're the same manufacturers. Right. They're going straight to the street. They're getting brand new shit. They're not getting old shit. They're not getting stuff from other countries. People have this myth of understanding of like, yo, the reason why the drug cartels are so huge because Americans are buying the shit. The reason why we have these illegal gun problems is because Americans are buying the shit, and we're also selling the shit, and we're all pretending like every gun owner who has a license is, you know what, a good guy. No, the fuck they aren't, because they live in this capitalist society, and if they can get away with it, which we have a system which allows them to get away with it, they're going to do it. So tomorrow, everything is registered. Fuck you and your whole idea of tyranny and the government knowing the weapons that I have. Fuck you. We want to know exactly what you have. Yes, exactly. And when we know exactly what you have, we can loosen up on get federal background checks. Take 2 weeks. Sure, everybody can have a weapon, but we want to know. We want to know which weapon you have and who you sold it to. You can't just, if a person can sell 1 or 2 guns and not background check someone, then hell yeah, they can sell 50 guns and not background check someone, or 150 or 1,000 guns and not background check someone. Why do we think this is like so hard? We're letting this shit slip through the cracks. We're allowing this process to happen because of this idea, this ideology of people are coming for your weapons. No, they aren't. The only reason why they potentially might have been coming for your weapons because motherfuckers is killing people. They just don't want it for no reason. Right. They want it for protection. You want it for protection, but that's not increasing the protection.
Right. As I always think about stuff like this, as technology progresses, we're going to reach a point where either the technology saves us or we'll find a way to actually protect ourselves. So like the idea is that, all right, well, one day, honestly, I just feel like the idea of even something as small as a GPS tracker is going to be inside of every weapon, or at least every firing pin. Just a firing pin. Without a firing pin, you can't shoot a weapon. You know, so just having that will make things. Just imagine like the decrease, because now it'll only be the ones who are on suicide missions who are actually doing something like this. Yes. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
Not the person who's trying to get away with something.
Yeah.
So it kind of just, and especially the point in which if something is missing or something's stolen, chances are it won't be anymore. You know? So, I mean, but that's just the world we live in currently.
It's the world we live in. It's sad, but we have solutions. We have attempts. It's not about mass taking away weapons from people. We have things that we can start with today. And the number one thing is we have to change our culture from the culture of punitive damage being the solution. We have a culture of jailing people, and we have a culture of the only way that I can attempt to save my life is killing somebody.
Right.
That's not the only solution. How about we make a solution before a person even gets to rob your house?
Right.
Let's affect them before they even get to the point of wanting to steal your shit. Isn't that safer?
I'm all for 5 years of training from the age of 15 to 20.
Let's go.
Before you can have your own personal weapon.
Let's go. It could be in the school.
If you're going hunting, you can still go hunting during those ages, because usually those are the ages in which you're going.
Yep.
But you can only go with someone who's been licensed, and is of age. And I feel like of age would be after probably 25, let's say, because now you have 5 years of training.
Yep.
And then you have 5 years of handling your own weapon.
Check this out. The bill comes out in which we do the federal background checks, but in that we put money towards spending for training of any American citizen who wants to learn how to use the firearms, and from the best people who ever could, or people who are in the armed forces. So therefore,
got jobs for veterans.
We're not taking away your ability to defend yourself, and actually we're increasing. Now you have the knowledge. Start at 15. You opt in,
right?
And we're going to subsidize it. Opt in for the training, and we'll subsidize it as American citizens. Right. Because then again, he's already trained. If he does want to go into the military, he has some military training from a military person who has a military background. We can both meet. If all you care about is your ability to defend yourself.
Right.
Me, as a conspiracy theorist, small percentage of people have the guns, larger percentage of people don't. I'm kind of an all or nothing person. Right. Call it weird. People want to take the illegal guns off the street. I think that the illegal guns are the safest thing against tyranny. Personally, if a tyrannical government wanted to take over,
that's what they have to worry about most.
They have to worry about the illegal guns and not the legal guns. Because that small percentage, that's probably militias who probably would believe what the tyrannical government believes anyway. But
I feel you. Where are we at?
Yo, listen.
That was this week in...
Damn. This week in social.
Yeah.
That got real heavy.
It did.
I just want to say to lighten it up. ASAP's home. All right, ASAP's home. All right, this week.
And Diddy's going out with Steve Harvey.
And Diddy's going... Damn.
Take that.
Damn.
My bad.
Wow. That was a power move.
Told you that we won't stop.
Damn.
Told you that we won't stop.
Steve's on a boat now. I seen him. They were on. Okay. I mean, you can't get to his daughter in the middle of the sea, can? Oh no, Diddy got a yacht. Yeah. He got a yacht too. Damn.
Diddy talking to us? Don't talk to your stepmother like that.
Don't talk to your stepmother. First of all, I don't want my daughter's boyfriend to have a bigger yacht than me. I'd rather have no yacht than my daughter's boyfriend to have a bigger yacht.
I feel you.
All right. All right. Listen, this week in racism. We do this every week. I'm getting tired. This is really draining me because this situation. I mean, this started really 2016 when he was running his campaign. Yep. We heard words. We didn't know how far the deeds were going to go. Yeah. ICE raids in Mississippi.
600 and something people.
600 and something people. They were taken from their
jobs, leaving the kids at school.
The kids were at school, so when the kids get out of school,
no one's picking any of them.
No one's picking any of them up.
I don't want my dad. No, the Hispanic people are not doing nothing bad. They're not stealing nothing. I can't do nothing but please open the door for the parents. I'm stuck over there in jail. I'm not gonna have nothing. It's the first day of school for me. My dad bought everything for me to live over here. The rent, and I don't know what I'm gonna eat. And I'm so lonely right now. I need my dad for me. My dad didn't do nothing. He's not a criminal. So the governments, please put your heart. Let my parents be free with everybody else, please. Don't leave the child with cryness and everything.
No parents to come. The community had to come together to make sure the kids ate at this moment. What's the plan here? What's the plan? We pick people up from their jobs. Mm-hmm. So they're working. Mm-hmm. They're contributing.
These are the jobs that they've been stealing.
This is the jobs they've been stealing. They're working, they're contributing. Now, I want to see next week that those 600 jobs have been filled by Americans. Right. Because people have been waiting for them, right?
You're right.
Just I have no other term, but this is terrorism. This is mental terror. Just think about what happens to these children from this day on. What they think about the country that they grew up in. Mm-hmm. That they're supposed to essentially feel safe too. Right. You think they're going to turn on their parents? You think they're going to look at their parents as if their parents did something wrong? And what happens to the kids, Lou? Where do they go?
No, don't know. I mean,
foster kids in Harlem
going to the system. Like I don't even know how.
And we pay. Think about how silly this is. We're paying for people to do these raids. Mm-hmm. We're now removing them from their jobs, so now we're not getting tax income from these people that were working. Mm-hmm. We're possibly destroying whatever company that is because now they have no workers.
Paying for the detention centers.
Paying for
the kids in housing or kids
housing,
in the
foster care, the feeding, all of these things. And this is lucrative unless you're the person who owns the detention center, unless you own one of these foster care, which I find out that there's like private foster care facilities. Like there's people that there's a place in Harlem that has foster care kids there. Like there's people unless you own a detention center, unless you're one of these people who are taking in these foster care children, unless you're the people who are providing these meals, because obviously somebody's preparing the meals for the detention centers, preparing, who are making these blankets, who are building these facilities. Mm-hmm. All of them are running to the bank, fat pockets.
Got to get them government.
And hours are thinning out.
Yep.
And this was only 600. So if we did it to the tune of millions, how is that going to be lucrative for our country?
For me, I have a short list of things that make me unproud to be an American. Mm-hmm. There's one of those things.
This is one of those things
where it just makes me go gosh, man. I see the idea of leaving. Like these people are leaving their country because of the conditions and coming here. I look at my country and I look at the conditions and I'm like, man, it's probably better in another country right now. You understand what I mean? Like, it's.
We treat our veterans like shit. Mm-hmm. Healthcare is like shit. Mm-hmm. Not many people are that healthy in this country. Right. Mass shootings consistently. Mm-hmm. 2 of them in 24 hours. We have decrepit communities. Our infrastructure is falling apart. Mm. I mean, if you go through some communities, portions of these communities, they look like they were in a war zone. Mm-hmm. Kids with high levels of lead. Some places don't even have clean water. We essentially grandstand on our television. Give us some of your money so that we can build fountains and water streams in other parts, in other countries, and other continents. But we don't have fresh and clean water in one of the richest nations, the richest nation.
So you have 4 kids, right?
4.
All right. And I got 1. And I think about like, all right, so if you and your wife are taken away, no family, no nothing, like how do your kids get through that? Like
how?
You know, like
how? I
have absolutely no clue. No
how?
Idea. I can't even fathom the idea.
Where do you start? That mental trauma that happens that moment when your parents don't show up and you find out that you have no idea whatever's going to happen to them.
When you're going to see them next.
When you're going to see them again. It's so immense that it's crazy for a person to even think that that's the step to take.
Because you don't even know where they're going. Like, or when they're going.
When they're going.
Right.
And essentially, this is actually the goal, to present this trauma so that people don't come. So we're willing to terrorize these children, essentially, and their families to prevent other people from coming. That's the casualty of war idea.
Right.
Which is sick. It's sick. When are people going to say, you know what? I may like what's going on in the economy, which that's another discussion because we just seen what's happening with the economy now with the tariffs in China. I may like what's going on with the economy. I may like the tax cuts, but none of that shit matters when you're ripping these fucking kids from their parents' arms.
Right.
None of that shit matters. And if you're going to do that, you got to go, I'll get the next guy who's going to cut taxes, who's going to do all the other shit, and not terrorize brown women and children.
Right.
This week in racism, guys. This week in racism. And I mean, if you guys are going to sit there and just say, well, we don't know if he's racist because we don't know what's in his heart. We know the effects. I don't give a rat's ass what's in somebody's heart.
Right. I don't need the word racism.
I don't need the word racism
to know what the product is.
This shit is fucked up. This weekend fucked up. That's what we can call it that. Like it. This weekend fucked up. All right.
Ice Raids till next month.
All right. All right, let's move on.
Yes.
Because we got a show.
Yes.
What we're here for.
Yo.
We went to the movies.
Yes, we did.
I had another large popcorn with a Mr. Pibbs.
I don't think I had anything.
Damn, you're a weird person.
I know, right? Go to the movies for nothing.
Gosh, you know? You just sit there.
Just 2 hours and 40 minutes.
2 hours and 40 minutes of nothing.
Just looking.
Just looking at the... Wow.
Good movie. Okay.
Quentin Tarantino's ninth film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Woo! Trailers.
Yes.
Throw off.
Yes.
The big throw off.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's like complaining, stop showing the whole movie in the trailer.
Show as much as you want.
He definitely did not do that.
Show as much as you want.
He definitely did not do that.
So, Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt.
Yes.
Margot Robbie.
Yep.
Features by Al Pacino.
Yes.
Timothy Olyphant. Who else was in it? Luke Perry.
Luke Perry.
Luke Perry.
Dakota Fanning.
What's
the shorty who wrote Girls? What's her name? Girls on HBO is a hit.
I don't know. Yeah. Bruce Dern.
Yes.
Was Michael Madsen in it?
Yes, he was.
Yes, he was. Madsen. I'm trying to think of all the regulars that he. Oh, Russell. Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell was in it.
Gosh, man, it was star-studded cast.
And a ton of people.
2 hours and 41 minutes. It better be.
It's a lot of time for people to be in there.
It better be. I don't know who the new girl is. The one who played the lead hippie.
Oh yeah. Oh no, she's been around.
Yeah. Okay.
What movie is she from? You've seen it in other movies for sure.
I'll have to go back. And
She's been around.
Look, she was actually really good. To really pay attention to it, but the acting's phenomenal.
Fantastic.
I mean, you take two of
not one flaw.
Right. You take two of the best in the game.
Mm-hmm.
You take one of the best directors, writers.
For sure.
And like I said, I got
put writer before director.
Writer, correct. I felt a lot of pulp fiction in it.
Absolutely.
Without the chops, because a lot of people, the one complaint that people who don't get it is always like, oh, the story's jumping around everywhere.
Yeah, this doesn't jump around.
This doesn't jump around. And then I got a lot of Inglourious Bastards.
It's very Inglourious Bastards.
Definitely enjoyed it. The story of lead actor and his stunt double. His stunt double is basically his gopher and his driver.
Yes.
So basically you're getting him in his twilight years of acting.
Yes.
So he's just now coming down off his star, basically. Yeah. And
lost a TV show that was...
And you can see the heavy drinking, because obviously he doesn't have his license when the movie starts.
Yeah.
But you could see that him messing up lines. I feel like that was one of the best DiCaprio moments. So, but him pulling everything off, and then you getting a side story of Brad Pitt's character and everything he does, and you have these people.
Did he kill his wife?
Oh, that's the next story. No,
I hope so.
Yeah, I know, right? And you get the story.
I think we get a part 2. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah,
I think we get a part 2.
Oh, I like that. Okay,
they left it open.
Yeah. And then you're getting this story mixed in with a true story of Charles Manson. And his family.
We never see him.
Yeah, we do.
We do see him?
Yeah, we do. He's the one who shows up at the house in the beginning, where he was like,
we do see. Okay, you're right.
So.
Oh, he was like, oh, Terry used to live here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So supposedly that's why it all started.
So that was
because he was going to the house, and now they don't live there, and he doesn't know why or whatever the case is, and he's just like, all these people from Hollywood are just buying everything and driving up the market and so on and so forth.
Wow.
So, yeah, so it's a really weird how the two stories intersect, and if anyone's seen Inglourious Bastards, you kind of know that it is a true story. It's a fake story within a true story.
Yes.
And how they
merge.
What
definitely.
He's very good at doing that, so I was definitely intrigued.
I guess because the fake story sets the time, it sets the tone, it sets the everything of what's going on with those people.
Yes.
And then we get introduced to real things that were happening. I before watching the movie, I didn't know much about Sharon Tate and Sharon Tate's death and the relation to Charles Manson. I just knew about Charles Manson. Yeah. Didn't really know much about the family. Right. I knew there was other people with them, but I didn't know there was like a whole hippie group. There was like a whole hippie group living somewhere in a ranch in Hollywood.
Yeah. So all that part of the story is real. So a former 50s, 60s set manager or producer, he's living at this place, and basically the Manson family is living there.
That's so crazy.
And obviously in the movie he's blind, so he's really, he's not all there, but they're taking care of him, quote unquote, taking care of him. And I guess, that's the way that they're making money is actually doing these tours. Yeah. And that was actually really happening.
Get out of here.
So it's really crazy. But everything leading up to the scenario, everything is real. So, and it's so phenomenal how they play it out from basically through the eyes of Leonardo DiCaprio's career.
Yeah.
And basically leading up to the night in which everything happens. So it's really good.
When they start flashing the time on the screen,
and you're just like, oh, let's get it. So, like you could tell it's a countdown now.
Yes,
you know.
Yes,
and the story is well played. It doesn't seem as long as it did, like as the timestamp shows, and the climax. For me, it paid off. I definitely felt it by the end.
If the movie was just a Leo and Brad situation, and we just got a finishing with them, I would have enjoyed that.
Right.
And if the movie was just the Manson family, I would have enjoyed that. Right. So having them both together and weaving, I have to read the script because I really want to know how he wrote this and what were the visuals that he presented verbally, you know, like in the written word, in the written format. Like, again, he's solidifying that he can write a story about any fucking thing.
Yeah.
He's bringing all kinds of characters.
It's crazy.
And just bring it around. It just works.
And it's so weird because, all right, so we've written before. And one of the first exercises I've ever done growing up, something that I did myself was I would try to take characters from different stories and put them together and then be like, all right, it's a totally different genre for me than one of the backgrounds and figure out a story.
Yep.
And I feel like that's something that he does where it's just like you take something that's real and he's taking like, all right, I'm going to put this story, how can this story fit? And how can we marry the two? And I feel like he does that and that's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Nice film. Okay, I mean, this is the thing. Like, you have to know if this is your first Tarantino film. Yeah, it might not work for you because you don't have you don't know the tone. You don't have a context of the tone and what he's doing. Yeah. I mean, I would suggest that you have to go back and you get something that's going to pop into your face, like Reservoir Dogs.
That's what I was going to say. What do you feel is the first movie that people should watch?
Okay, pre-Kill Bill.
Yeah.
It would be Reservoir Dogs.
Okay.
But right now, it's Kill Bill. If you watch Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2, you're going to think, yo, this shit is amazing. Right. And then you understand tone. Then you understand, oh, he's an artiste when you go to Reservoir Dogs. And then I would even pop them out of what he's directed. And I say, go check out, what's the, not Natural Born Killers.
Which one? Jackie Brown?
No, the one Tony Scott directed.
Not Natural Born Killers. Gotta help me out, man. Give me the story. Give me something.
Guy and girl, drugs. It has the dude from Sopranos
California?
in it.
Oh, Soprano.
The dude from Sopranos, James Gandolfini is in it.
Man, you losing me, man.
Gosh.
God dang. I don't know.
He has the Elvis shades.
Oh, True Romance.
True Romance.
Yes.
True Romance.
Yes,
you understand what I'm saying?
yes,
So
yes,
you you feel him, and then Reservoir Dog. Once you hit Reservoir Dogs, you'll understand the artiste. Pulp Fiction, you'll have fun.
Okay.
You may get lost, but you'll have fun.
I think you have to reserve Pulp Fiction for the 4th or 5th movie.
Okay.
I would definitely probably do Reservoir Dogs first.
Yeah.
Because it's seamless, basically, almost. And it gives you the flashback, so it prepares you for Pulp Fiction.
Yes.
Second, I would probably do Jackie Brown.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you a Jackie Brown fan?
Yeah.
It's kind of low on my list.
Yeah?
Yeah, Jackie Brown's low on my list.
My brother said the same thing.
It's low on my list.
All right, but the reason why I do the Jackie Brown thing is because it builds you the familiarity of seeing famous actors in other roles.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So not playing heroes.
Right, and that's another thing with Pulp Fiction, where you get to Pulp Fiction, you see all these different actors that you see them in specific roles, and you don't expect that. Gotcha. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do like the idea of True Romance.
Yes.
Maybe I'm going to put that up there too. And then I would probably do Pulp Fiction. I'd probably go from Pulp Fiction. Before I even do Kill Bill, I probably would have to do like Inglourious Basterds or Django. So that you can
Django before Inglourious.
Yeah.
That's on my list.
So Django. And then I would probably say watch this movie, because then you're going to be like, now you get a sense of theme. Well, I'm just taking like that death proof all the way at the end.
It's fun though.
Yeah, it is fun. It's just fun. It's just not. Nah.
Dusk Till Dawn.
That's what I was gonna say. Where do you put from Dusk Till Dawn?
He wrote Dusk Till Dawn with Robert Rodriguez. He wrote it. Okay, I know people make. I love Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, I think it's great.
I love it.
Yeah,
like I love it. Like I might watch it tonight. Love it. Okay. Like it's one of the. I probably watch it on the projector because with the kids up, obviously you can't watch Dusk Till Dawn. But I love watching what's his name
George Clooney.
George Clooney.
Yeah.
I
was like, man, he should have did more movies like this.
So
good.
Yeah. I love Dusk Till Dawn.
Anyone who loves George Clooney.
I read it maybe a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
It's a great read.
Okay.
Great. But yeah, Dusk Till Dawn is on the list.
Okay.
Dusk Till Dawn is on the list. So you can leave Death Proof out. Death Proof
so where do you have this as far as
I don't know. I can't put this in.
For me it's
yet.
like right in the middle, I think.
Got you.
Yeah. I think it's definitely like right in the middle. Like if we're just talking about
it has a lot of my favorite people to watch too.
Yeah.
I love Leo.
Yeah.
I love Brad Pitt.
I think he's awesome.
And the performance is really, really good. And it's like, okay, this is the thing. When you're watching this movie, you almost have to think about like when you're watching Wes Anderson movies. Mm-hmm. You're watching our artists do something different. This is their art. Mm-hmm. This is their art, and it's not going to have the Transformers arc. Right. You know what I mean? It's not going to have the simple payoff where the hero wins.
Right.
There really is a story here, and there's an attempt when he's writing, he's attempting something when he's writing, and he's attempting something when he's directing, and those worlds are now coming together, and we're watching this guy present something to us, and it's for us to enjoy.
And I think that people like. There's people who write and like that there's scenes just for Phil. And he never does that. So I was just like, when you're watching the movie, and especially that first scene where Brad goes home for the first time, and the whole feeding of the dog, and that like you don't realize the payoff that
we're looking at how he's really living life.
Right. And it's so crazy that
because that's the juxtaposition of how Leo's living.
Right.
But this guy essentially made Leo's career by being able to do the things Leo could never do.
Exactly. And it's just it's so crazy when you're watching it and it's playing out. Like it's playing out and you're just like you don't know why something is important until you get further down. And it's just like
it totally paid off at the end.
So I mean, we tried to speak a lot without giving away too much.
Because the end is really significant.
Right.
The end is really a huge payoff. Right. And I feel like when he was like writing this, he was just smiling. Because it sets you up because the whole time you're waiting. If you're a Quentin Tarantino fan, if you go into the movie not knowing anything, you're really going to be blown away.
Right.
But if you're a Quentin Tarantino fan and you're kind of reading stuff around it, you're trying to like, oh, when is it going to happen? Right. When are we going to get some introduction? Why he made it even like a comedy when they were sitting in the car, like. For real?
Yeah. And the crazy part is that
that's real that she drove away.
Yeah. The wildest part is that it's like it's a buddy cop movie.
It is a buddy cop movie.
Because you get for me the payoff was literally seeing the exact symbolism of their friendship at the end.
They're heroes. Like, they're both heroes together.
That's crazy.
Yes.
But without talking about the end, so where do you put it? I mean, how many cannons have you given it?
Listen, Tarantino's one of the reasons I wanted to do this shit.
Yeah,
him and Spike.
Okay,
and they're, I guess, seemingly arch enemies or whatever. But like he's one of the reasons I wanted to do this shit, and like just watching Reservoir Dogs is just the thing that I wish. If I can go back and just be one of those characters, I would. As a performer, if I could just be on the set as a person helping. This is definitely... When I left the theater, I was like, I don't know what I watched, but I know what I watched. It was a Tarantino film.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it defied everything that I thought was potentially going to happen. Mm-hmm. And then conversating about it is like, kind of want to see it again.
Yeah.
It's a little long, but I kind of want to see them do their thing again. Right. I want to see people perform. I want to see people take on tough characters. I want to see people make tough stories and visually be beautiful. It's a 4.
Okay.
It's a 4.
Okay. I had a 4 too. That's why
it's a 4.
Yeah.
It's no 5.
No, it's definitely not.
It's no 5. It's a 4.
Yeah, it definitely exceeded expectations, and due to the fact that obviously we're gonna pull a topic from most of the things we spoke about, the fact that it was probably the least violent of his movies.
Yeah, because it was just at the end.
Right, like other than the fight at the ranch, like that was it.
Yeah,
like,
and it was more
everything else
anticipatory violence.
Right, everything else was like, because of the movies.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or the fight with Bruce Lee, which wasn't like, it's a deathly fight like in Tarantino movies. Yep. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it was probably the first time that it was just like, this is really just going to be a story. Like it's really just a story. So it's a 4.
It's a 4. It's a 4, guys.
Go see it.
Tarantino, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yes. It's a strong, strong 4. It's definitely worth a watch. I had a good time watching it, and I have a good it creates a 5 conversation.
Right.
But it's a 4. But it creates a great conversation because it's first of all, it's 2 hours and 41 minutes. There's a lot to talk about in there. There's a lot of stories going on, but it doesn't drag. Not one point did I get tired while I was watching it. I just enjoyed it.
Yeah, he's good at the flow of it, you know? Mm-hmm. Like that's one thing that I would say that he's probably mastered better than many. Mm-hmm. It's just like he knows how to flow in and out of a scene to keep the story going, to continually feed you information that's leading you down the path, you know? So definitely. Oh, what is that?
What was that other? I'm thinking. What was that other Tarantino movie with Channing Tatum?
Oh, The Hateful Eight.
The Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
It felt a little Hateful Eight too.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
I feel like those movies kind of fit in the world of where he is in his creation. Yeah. Like Inglourious Bastard, Hateful Eight, and those are the last 3, isn't it? They're kind of like how he's creating these worlds and these stories in there.
Django's after Inglourious Bastards.
Django's after Inglourious Bastards, you're right.
Because originally Samuel L. Jackson's character in The Hateful Eight, he wanted it to be Django, but it didn't fit. So he created this whole new character. And that became Samuel L. Jackson.
Wow. All right, Tarantino, go check it out. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And this is the time of the show in which we get over here, a topic from the film or topics from the film, and we explore them.
Yes.
Violence in movies.
Yes. So after speaking about the fact that this is one of the least violent movies, and knowing that after having these conversations about, violence on TV, violence in movies, politicians speaking about violence in video games this week.
Violence in games.
And how they mold society. I don't know.
We lived through that, didn't we? Because we are the video game era.
Right.
Think about that.
I don't know if you saw that the politician said, especially after these shootings, he was like, there's only video games here in America. They don't have video games anywhere else. And then...
So he's never been outside of America.
Basically. Because almost every meme showed every Japanese character, like every major video game came from Japan. And
they have places where they go in public to play video games.
So it's silly, but I don't know. We are from the action adventure era, so there are many movies where we're just like, and obviously the comic book era, so most comics are action, violent, and I don't think that that's basically what molds people, because I think that maybe it's the culture more than anything, and I don't think that the movies have made the culture more of what it is. It's just depicting what we've been displaying.
The only case a person can make is a person being desensitized to violence.
Right.
But even video game violence is not realistic.
Yeah.
There's no realism to it. Like, as far as video games have gone.
Right.
you know that you're moving a joystick. We're not living in a virtuality world in which, you know, we're moving our feet and our arms.
You ever saw Virtuosity?
Yes.
Oh,
that's coming.
You don't think that was one of the greatest Russell Crowe, Denzel Washington
I
movies?
love Virtuosity. People hate Virtuosity. I love Virtuosity.
I think it was pretty good, too.
And I enjoyed Time Cop. You remember Time Cop with Van Damme?
That's one of my favorites.
I enjoyed listen. Yeah. Maybe we should like do like a whole series of movies that people hated that we loved. And just talk about how good these movies were. Virtuosity might be the first one.
Okay, we're gonna bing them up the charts.
Bing them up the charts. Sleepers. Let's trend Virtuosity.
Yes.
Virtuosity 2 starring John David Washington. I'm just putting that out there. Put that out there.
When Denzel gets a royalty check or something, and he's like, Virtuosity.
Maybe that's what Tenet is. Maybe it's Tenet. Virtuosity 2.
Okay.
What?
Right. Go Christopher Nolan.
Yo.
With the Virtuosity.
He loves Virtuosity 2.
See? Yeah. All right. I'm going to tell you right now, if it is, I'm going to come here first and let you know, like, yo.
Sweet. We willed it into existence. Listen. Violence in movies. Violence in games. We lived through the era. We were the Mortal Kombat era. Mm-hmm. Mortal Kombat, finish him, all that type of stuff. We went WWE era. I mean, wrestling always existed.
Still not outselling Mario.
Like, come on. Like, I mean, we're looking for the easy solution.
Right.
We're looking for the
easy excuse.
The easy excuse. Yeah. You know what really desensitized children to violence? It happens in the home. Mm-hmm. It happens in the home when you teach a child to not value human beings equally.
Right.
That desensitizes them.
Right.
Because now, if I don't look at you as equal as me, if I'm taking your life is totally different.
Right. If I dehumanize
you,
why am I going to value your life? Because it's not
calling you names.
Right.
That's the danger.
Right.
I'm not saying that these things, if anything video games are doing, it's probably not good for mental health as far as lights and the flashing of the lights and the amount of time that people are spending in them as opposed to doing some other things.
Right.
Although I've seen a great solution. I'm about to buy my daughter Fortnite.
Oh, yeah?
Fortnite because she can make $3 million playing in a tournament.
This week in social media.
Did we forget that?
Yeah. $3 million.
$3 million.
Okay.
$3 million.
I'm about to tell my son, you're not playing enough.
If anything, this games are doing is desensitizing our children to working for the man. Because these kids are making $3 million fucking dollars.
Yo.
Playing these games.
When I seen it, I was like, yo, is he in a stadium? How many people are in here?
Who's there? Yeah. This is not LeBron. Who is this?
Oh, my
gosh. Ready Player One is coming. That's what's happening. But, boom. It's not the games. Right. It's not the movies. It's none of that shit. It's how we actually interact in day to day. That's the real life lesson. Kids are identifying and seeing how humans are treating other humans.
Correct.
And how we rationalize violence.
Right.
We rationalize it. So if we allow people to rationalize violence, some people are going to rationalize it even more. And that's what's happening. It ain't the movies.
Right.
They know it's fake. You're not showing it to a 2-year-old.
Right.
Yes, Mortal Kombat shouldn't be played by a 2-year-old. Absolutely not.
Nah, you're right.
Absolutely not. But you know what? The 16-year-old who's playing Mortal Kombat is not like, ooh, finish him. I want to go kill
school tomorrow
and kill somebody. Right. No, that's not happening, guys. No. It's not happening. We can say it all we want.
Right.
We can imagine all we want. It's the hysteria. It's the same shit as the weed hysteria.
Right.
You know, it's making them, look at them, look at it, it's making them, look at the weed, look at the, no, stop, stop. There's real things that are actually happening.
Right.
It's funny how he brings up the games, but he doesn't bring up psychotropic drugs.
Right.
Like, come on.
You're right.
Ritalin is doing more harm than these fucking games.
Prescription drugs in general.
Prescription drugs in general is doing more harm than these games.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe we should lock up.
Lack of vegetables and water are doing more harm than these games.
Mm-hmm. We should lock up prescription drugs like we should be locking up weapons.
That's it. That's it. You should have your drugs in a safe. It's true. Mm-hmm. Yep. It's true. Listen, it's not. I mean, it's not happening. It's not the games. It's not the games. It's not the games. It's not the movies.
I'm cool with it not being the games. It's not the movies.
It's not the movies.
I mean, I remember going through the articles, and especially knowing that we watch movies and that whole big Scarface did it, you know, like, oh, it's teaching whatever it is and making people go out there and shoot people. Like, no, we had that problem way before Scarface.
Before Scarface.
I don't think Al Pacino came out here and did.
No.
Oh my gosh, look at this guy.
The only thing violent movies made me want to do is make other violent movies. That's it.
I'm just jumping off a couch like, yo, what up? You know?
That's it. I mean, and these are politicians.
Yeah.
And we're trusting that these individuals are intelligent or...
let me help you out. They are smart.
No, they are not. We got to stop. We got to stop. And we got to stop trying to look for the easy solution and the easy answers. I mean, the answers are easy because most of them are in front of our face. But if we explore them and we just look at the landscape of everybody who's playing these violent games, everybody who's watching these violent movies, we're all going out to watch them together.
Right. So basically, like we said earlier, if we can extend the process of how you could get a weapon, and we bring the numbers down, and we extend the mental health care, and we could bring the numbers down. Those handful of psychotics, if they're all video game players, we could blame the video games.
Then we could blame the video games. Let's go.
See?
Fuck Mortal Kombat then.
All right, y'all.
No more Mortal Kombat.
Get them out of here.
I don't know. Listen, I mean, when Duck Hunt came out, were people just like shooting pigeons in New York City?
Yo, I got to. You see these pigeons out here flying around?
Like, come on.
Yo, you're right. I don't know.
Tetris was big. I never seen anybody like just moving blocks.
Right. Got to the lunchroom table and was just like,
like for real. It wasn't happening.
I don't know, man. We live in a world where I don't know, man. Everything's backwards. Like
everything is backwards.
Like I feel like people either don't think, or there's something wrong with like being objective. The comprehension of things, actually having some sort of deductive reason and inductive reason. Like we should start figuring it out. Where it's just like, all right, like
let's start with all these things and let's start narrowing it down.
Right. And why does it have to be one solution? Why can't it be a multifaceted solution?
It most likely is.
Thank you. Like, all right, well, if we can get this down over here, we can get this down over here. We can pretty much stop this
and stop trying to cure diabetes.
Yeah.
Stop people from getting diabetes.
Right.
It's the same shit with the gun shit. Stop trying to stop the shootings.
Right.
Let's stop them before they want to start shooting people. Right. And it ain't the fucking games. It's something else. Yep. Let's go. And I think a lot of people who throw out this game shit because they know we're not going to end the violence in games. Right. We're not going to end the violence in movies. They just want inaction.
He's an NRA member.
Duh. I did deductive reasoning to get to that. I mean, it's like, come on.
Help me out.
Help me,
help you.
I mean, they want inaction. Right. They want inaction because a lot of these people, some of their ability and their defense and their lack of physical being able to take care of themselves is wrapped up in their weapon.
Right.
And so if they get that taken away, they got no fucking way of surviving. Exactly. And that's how they really feel. So if you take my weapon away from me, I don't feel like that.
Right.
I can take the L and I also can fight for my life if I had to. And if I got to take this L, I'm gonna take the ass whooping.
Right.
Some people got to learn to take the ass whooping. For real.
I feel you.
A lot of people, like, listen, they don't want violence in school, and I understand. Control violence in school is important.
Right.
I think ass whoopings should be given in school, and not in a dangerous way. Like in school, in gym, why Oh, we forgot to talk about dodgeball. But why do we play these stupid fucking games? Why is the gym teacher like that? Right. Like in school, how about we train kids in martial arts?
Right.
How about we train them in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? Right. Let's get Gracie Jiu-Jitsu all through the fucking public schools. And the kids are physical with each other. And the boys are and the girls are exerting energy and they're getting that physical nature out. They get to challenge each other in a safe way. Yeah. Even if it's boxing.
Right. You know what's the crazy part is that, all right, so you know how we always, you have all these jobs that have like these team building exercises and stuff. It's so crazy that we don't have that in school because they've showed that monitoring brainwaves, competition doesn't nearly use as much brain as cooperation.
So we got to work together.
So when you have a cooperative, you're using so much more of your brain to like do certain things because now there's many other variables.
Okay, so what you're saying is we should build escape rooms in schools.
Yes, in the gym.
And they have to figure their way out to get to lunch.
There we go.
We figured the movies.
I'm just saying.
No, but that totally makes sense. Is because like I learned something about each individual when they have to come and give their they contribute in their specific way, because their amount of information may be different. They just know something a little bit more about this thing, and now I learned that thing, and I learned that you knew that thing, and I find you interesting.
And then you learn how someone else processes something, and now you can start to process that way because now you can see from a different perspective.
Yes.
Okay, he's seen it this way, changed it around this, and I didn't even think about that.
Yes.
So now I can start looking at things that way, and I can look, all right, maybe I can achieve more by doing this differently. And people don't quite realize that, Oh, man. But it's the world we live in.
It's the world we live in. We have the solutions, but we have people who are just holding on to old ideas. Yeah. And we got to eradicate those old ideas. And we start with our children. You have 1, I have 4.
Right.
And
we got to start in 5 right there.
We have to start at 5, and we have to build them and just keep adding on to them all the things that we're learning in the direction we believe that this country and our world should go. Yes. This was great.
Yes, it was.
Loose Cannons.
Yes.
Episode 21.
Here for it.
I'm No Justin, No Peace.
And I'm Lou Rivers.
We just reviewed Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Quentin Tarantino. It was good. We gave it a 4. Check out the full review. Hit us up on our social media. And until next time, we are the Loose Cannons Podcast. Every week, we're hitting you with our ideas. Cultural commentating on today's pop culture, politics, and movies, and how they all motherfucking intersect. Episode 21. We out. Peace.